Deshaun Watson now has a civil suit with what? It's a 26 women now at this point. And I think, it's a good, we're going to spend a good amount of time talking about this whole situation because, I mean, there's just a lot of things that I think mainstream society doesn't necessarily have the luxury of understanding the nuances of the cultures that they're dealing with now, thinking of it as one thing and in fact, it's a little bit different.
The main
with
thing.
You good folks, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Now it's time to talk about our boy. That's your man. That's your man.
Your boy.
Deshaun Watson. So Deshaun Watson had a press conference today. We're going to listen to this minute-long clip from the press conference.
I like the hat.
And then we'll talk about it. So this is a press conference. Obviously, he's going to get grilled about the situation, and then we'll hear his response.
I think that question kind of, triggered a lot of people, not just women in general, but a lot of people from this, in the league, from women to males and things like that. And what I was saying is, yes, I never assaulted, disrespected, or harassed anyone. But at the same time, I do understand that I do have regrets as far as the impact that it's have on the community and people outside of just myself. And that includes my family, that includes this organization, that includes my teammates in this locker room that have to answer to these questions. That includes, the fan base of the Cleveland Browns. That includes males, females, everyone across the world. So that's one thing I do regret is the impact that it's have triggered on so many people. And it's tough to have to, deal with.
But as far as your actions, you don't have any regrets about anything that you've actually done?
No, like I said, I never assaulted anyone, or I never harassed anyone, or I never disrespected anyone, or I never forced anyone to do anything.
For me, the one thing that I kind of keep coming back to in my mind is when this shit first hit the fan for him, it's fine to deny what, it's fine. His stance that he has right now is fine in saying that you didn't disrespect, you didn't assault, you didn't force anybody to do anything. But what you also needed to do on top of that was make it clear that, hey, I was trying to holler at these chicks.
Oh, mixed signals. Yeah.
I was trying to holler at these chicks. My intention was not to force them to do anything, but I was, maybe I was being promiscuous.
Right.
But,
maybe I did get a little chub.
I can be guilty of being a horny motherfucker. Fine.
Right.
But I didn't break any laws, and I didn't try to force these women to do anything they wanted. And the majority of them kept me as a client.
Right. And guess what?
He would have came out and been straight up about what all of us other athletes knew he was. Once we saw them numbers start getting up there, you knew what it was. He was hitting these chicks up on Instagram.
Yeah. Well,
who looks for a masseuse on Instagram?
I
Not my
what'd you say? What you about to say there, Stu?
I would say, not like an athletic professional massage.
You take the shovel.
Like that was the first problem I had with it. I'm like, are these real certified sports massage therapists that went to school and have the certifications to do the job that athletes? When I had a massage therapist, it was a profession. It was a legitimate service.
And that's how it is for the most part.
Like if you're finding a girl on, because most of the time that's kind of what they body rub. And it's like,
yeah, it's kind of, tongue in cheek.
They used to have a place, they used to have something that you could go to find exactly those kinds of massages.
Wax off, wax
Back
on.
page.
Back page. Well, let me tell you something. Back page has been replaced by Instagram.
RIP back page. Man.
You know what I mean? Like it's. I think that his mistake was, and I don't, I don't know the legal. Can
I ask you? Wait, hold on. Can I ask you a question? So initially, before what happened was it was a grand jury said, listen, there's not enough evidence to proceed
2 grand juries, right?
in a legal.
Yeah, 2 grand juries
Okay, so then
to charge him with anything.
This is civil.
Mm-hmm.
This is totally civil case.
So
Which obviously has less. It has less restrictions. It has.
There's a lower burden of proof.
It's basically 51%. He did it.
Yeah. So
and that's up to a judge, not a jury, correct?
That would be. I think it'd be up to a jury. It could be up to a jury. I'm not sure.
Okay. Okay. I thought a judge dictate. No. Sorry. It's just majority rules, right? It's not. You don't. You don't need everyone to, without a doubt, convict you. You can just have, if majority says they think you're guilty, then you're considered guilty. I think, isn't that the difference in a civil trial?
I believe so.
It's not guilt. It's not guilt. It's liability. I think that's what's defined.
Liable.
Civil is liability.
Right. Like in a criminal charge, you need all 12 jurors to say yes. We believe that.
In a criminal, you need a unanimous. Now look. Now hold on, because in the Johnny Depp Amber Heard case, that was a jury that was unanimous. They had to come to a unanimous decision on defamation, which was a civil liability suit as well. And I understand why he won't come out and say that, because at the time when these accusations started piling up, he had a girl. He had, there would be ramifications for that, for him personally, that would be a big problem that he didn't want to have to face. So, he just flat out denied. But I think if you really, if he's being real, and again, a lot of people aren't really privy to the information or privy to understanding the culture of I guess you could say athletes and sex work, because that's what this kind of boils down to, in my opinion. Because I remember being in the locker room as a second-year player, third-year player, and then certain players were like, "Yeah, we going to the wushu spot
every Monday, every Monday out in Oakland."
The wushu spot? What is this? And then my team, these are cats who would sign with Jacksonville from different teams. Like, yeah, man, I've been looking around trying to find me a nice little wushu spot. I'm like, what is that? And then, they explain it to me. And cats, this is part of cats' weekly rituals. Getting ready for the game.
This is the dark underbelly of the massage game.
Yeah, this is the underbelly of.
There's a whole subculture going on here.
But there really is.
There's
a difference between establishing that before what's going on, and then while things are going on, you are doing things that weren't agreed upon before it started. You know what I'm saying? Don't you think? I'm not saying anything about the 5-0 caught Robert Kraft. That's a prostitution thing, where this is assault. It's different.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like being caught with a prostitute, if prostitution's illegal and whatever's going on, then I get that. But this is something different, where you're being assaulted and it's not.
Well, hold on. There's no charges against him. He's not been indicted for anything. This is a civil suit. So it's not even about that I don't even think that you can say, I don't even think that there's a claim to be made about, sexual assault, because there's no charges here.
But you can't compare what Robert Kraft was involved in with what Deshaun Watson's going through. It's.
That was a sting, right?
It was a sting operation. So if anything, Robert Kraft should have had charges coming his way.
So yeah, that means they were.
But what I'm saying is as though that's someone being caught in someone where the other party involved is fully aware of what's going on. She knows.
They're both aware. They both were aware of what was happening. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a little bit different from this. These women are saying, I went there as a massage therapist, and then there was other actions.
And there's dick.
And then I just saw his dick just flopping out in the air, and I didn't know what to do.
And he was and
that's fair enough. If there is a complaint there, from a civil standpoint, fair enough. But what exactly is it that society is trying to say about Deshaun Watson, because he was going around on Instagram trying to get with chicks who were posing as massage therapists? Because at the end of the day, many of them were not certified. Many of them were not professional massage therapists.
But I mean,
So if you understand the shit, you know that these were hookups he was trying to get on with.
Let's keep it funky though. Like besides massage therapists or whatever they want to be, if we can see some DMs, if we can see some of these ladies' DMs, oh my, you would be fucking disgusted.
But again, like Mike 104 and Patrick are talking about Robert Kraft. Were those women going to the police and saying Robert Kraft did this to them? No, it was caught in a prostitution sting. These women are going up and saying that this was something that happened that I did not agree to. Am I mistaken by that? Is that
Patrick is saying the same thing here? He says, "How can you punish Watson with Robert Kraft as an owner?"
Well, that's probably like
super chat there. Appreciate super chat there, Patrick.
That's probably sex work and human trafficking more that they're concerned about.
Players are saying is that
I'm not saying it's
work. But these women weren't sex workers that had them. Like when you go into those massage parlors that you talked about your players and teammates going to, those women is establishing that, hey, this is what's going to happen. This is what it costs. And this is what's going on. These women are saying that, no, that's not what I was there for. So it's not the same thing. I mean, would you guys agree, right? Or no?
I mean, if they're trying to say that, then they are not sex workers.
Yeah, they're massage therapists.
Right.
Yeah, that's what. So it's not the same thing.
No, it's not the same thing in that regard. Okay. No,
that's all I was saying.
Oh yeah. They're saying they really came to massage him, even though
like that's what these women are saying.
Even though they're not licensed.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. You're not licensed. You don't have like an extensive history of this profession being your main source of income or even your side source of income. But you are on Instagram, passing yourself as a massage therapist. And
that's
what you're getting Deshaun Watson. Who else are you getting? That's one thing another thing that we don't know that I'm sure there is something in that regard that there's probably other teammates from the Houston Texans who were using them girls too.
Oh, for sure.
It's a guarantee. Is he going to end up paying money out? I mean, bro, there's not even a way out of this without paying money. I mean, you're going to have to pay something.
Just cut it.
Unless he can
settle out of court and just cut it.
Yeah, because you don't want to roll. If you don't want to roll that dice on getting hit with them punitives, because that can really, that could take all that 250 could be gone. That shit could be gone. So you don't want to risk that. Now, I do want to be fair to the other side of the conversation. We got a video here with Mina Kimes. So here's a video from Mina Kimes, minute and 11 seconds. We're gonna go through and listen to.
So this is one of them. This is one of the girls that's accusing him.
No. This is she's a commentator.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I have nothing against Mina Kimes, but I think that she is being given the role in ESPN as kind of that, she is
this is her thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
To a certain extent. Now she's got great sports. She's got a great sports database in her head. Like she understands, she understands stats and theory, I guess, in sports pretty well. She does have some good takes in sports, but she also is, they're trying. I feel like I'm watching her more and more. I've seen her, the more I've seen that they've kind of began to mold her into the conscience.
Is she stating facts or is she swaying an opinion?
I haven't seen this.
I feel like I haven't seen this. Yeah, I haven't seen this. So we're gonna listen to it, and then we'll talk about it after we get done listening to it. So let's go ahead and check it out.
First, I'll say I consider this to be a major, major story. You laid out a lot of the important developments in Jenny Vrentis' tremendous reporting, but I'll add another one. At this point, she has now spoken with multiple women who shared similar stories of these awful encounters with Deshaun Watson and did not sue. That is important because, as you know, so often with stories like this, people's first instinct is to question the motives of accusers, to bend over backwards, trying to justify unjustifiable behavior, to hatch galaxy brain conspiracy theories instead of simply reading an article and then ultimately to willfully forget. Tony, that is, of course, what the Browns bet on when they gave Deshaun Watson $230 million, that not just their fans, but the media, the NFL, people in and around this league, that we would all move on and forget. But they failed to account for something, or someone in this case, which is that Jenny Vrentas would do what they refused to do, what they lied about doing, which is actually investigate Watson's claims. And as a result, I think the NFL has to go harder on their suspension, and I think the Browns will face the consequences of their arrogant behavior.
So are NFL teams investigative bodies now?
See, that's the thing. And that's why I feel like ESPN is kind of trying to mold her into this. This is their perfect sports commentator, the one that can speak from a moral high ground in their eyes. And to me, I feel like you can't do that when you're talking about businesses that are based in, this is a capitalism. These motherfuckers are not, they don't necessarily have to give a damn about what he's done in his personal life. They don't have to. Like, that's not why they're going to hire him. They're going to hire him because they want to win, and winning brings money, and money brings new stadiums, and money, that brings new season ticket holders. Like, this is all about money and sustaining your product. And I feel like when you get into this and act like the Cleveland Browns are supposed to be the arbiters of what kind of player they want to have on their team from a moral standpoint, you get teams that suck when you do that, because I've been there.
They relied on police.
Yeah, every team has their security guy, right? Yeah, they're
due process for a reason. This is America.
This is the thing. Like, teams that you do look at a player's past in regards to how does their behavior affect their ability to, like, are they somebody who loses their head once they get in trouble, or once they face some adversity and then they can't focus on football anymore? Like, everything is based on how does this affect your ability to absorb information from a football standpoint and produce on when you need to produce. Everything else is pretty much irrelevant in the eyes of the franchise. You're a grown adult. At the end of the day, they're going to set rules and say, hey, you can do these things and you can't do these. And we all know what those rules are.
Uche, can you play the first 15 seconds of that again, please?
Yeah.
Or 20 seconds.
I just honestly feel like she's expecting the Cleveland Browns and the NFL to judge him in the same way that a court of law would, or a civil court would.
Or how she's judging him.
Or how she's judging him.
First, I'll say I consider this to be a major, major story. You laid out.
Done. That's it. Stop right there. Is this really a major, major story? I mean, when you think of someone,
it's a big story. The whole thing it's a big story because of the number of women. That's what makes it a big story. But that's because people are putting aside the fact
would be they found 17 dead women in his backyard. That's a big story. This is her opinion on what's a big story.
The big story is the result.
Yeah, the big story has been that the number of women, and then that.
Like, I don't think speculating is ever a big story.
What I don't like is she is projecting an opinion on the listeners of this, and I don't think that's right, by saying this is a huge story, and they're going to go, oh my God, and they're going to overreact on stuff when really nothing so far has happened.
No, I'm with you 100%.
Right?
Like, we're still.
I hear you.
What she is doing is she is setting the narrative on. This is a huge story, and this is something that needs to be whatever. And it's like, no, it doesn't.
It could be a huge story.
Big story in the sense that it's a big story in the sense that it is probably a top five player in the NFL who has just been given, who's literally was. I mean, before this whole thing hit the fan.
This was
before this whole thing hit the fan. Deshaun Watson was probably the most electrifying quarterback in the NFL. Even on the terrible Texans team, he made plays that were uncanny, unbelievable. And his arrow was literally blaring green, pointing straight up. He was going to be he was a face of the NFL. And now,
but is it a story on a big person?
It's a story on a big person, which makes it a big story. this is because of the number of women, it is being perceived by the media as that he is a serial like offender from a sexual assault standpoint. That's the narrative that's being played, that they're trying to infer. They can't come out and say it because they've already had 2 grand juries say there's not enough evidence to even charge him with anything. Does that mean he was innocent of being?
That's what I don't get. There isn't a story to me. I mean, nothing's been.
To me, once the grand juries said that they couldn't, that there was not enough evidence to press charges, then look, you got to fucking stop like trying to make it sound like he did something illegal, because they have not found anything illegal.
Like the people that do that for a living, the entity that is tasked with nothing else but investigating people to find out wrongdoings, they said he didn't do it. They said there's not enough evidence. They didn't say he didn't do anything. They said
it's not their first case. It's not the first time that these court systems have had to decide whether or not to indict somebody for multiple sexual transgressions. So they know what's enough evidence.
But again, like, you look at O.J. Simpson, big story. You look at Ray Caruth, big story. Where you look at the tight end for the New England Patriots, big story where people have lost their lives and there's a criminal thing. This is all just hearsay.
I mean,
this is all hearsay. Like that is the truth. It is a lot of hearsay.
So for her to say, this is she is picking what people should think, and as a news reporter, you are there to give the facts and let the people listening obtain their own opinion. She is putting her opinion on people.
She's
and
projecting her opinion into the
I don't
viewers.
like that. I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't really like that either. I don't like that because
I don't give a fuck if she thinks I don't.
She can think he's a scumbag all she wants, but
exactly.
she shouldn't try to influence everybody to think that he's a scumbag like that.
Yes.
Because again, on her side of the tracks, she sees it that way. On our side of the tracks, we know that this is not an uncommon thing that guys get into in the sports world, in our world as public figures. Like cats literally would do this on a weekly basis.
Mm-hmm.
Social media made it 10 times easier. This is part of the culture of public figures.
Yep.
Whether it be athletes, whether it be movie stars. Come on, like we just heard a report yesterday. Politicians.
Oh God.
Don't get started on them motherfuckers. They're 10 times worse than athletes.
Well, you know what?
We just heard a story yesterday of a politician who has been spewing high and mighty bullshit for the last 2 years. And now it's being reported that she was an unlicensed.
Well, there's no licensed escorts, are there?
Yes, there are.
Well, I guess in was it Reno?
Not just there. There's certain places in the country,
and
I think her area was one of them where you could be a licensed escort, because a licensed escort is not the same thing as a prostitute.
It's not,
even though culturally they are. Legally, they're not.
Gotcha.
They're two very different things.
They're a date. They're
like a dating service. An unlicensed escort who had allegedly, reportedly, 2 abortions, and we think one of those abortions is from Ted Cruz. That's what people are saying, because Ted Cruz, who did not know this woman. I mean, how many women do you know for like? I mean, okay, let me put it like this: if you meet a woman, how long would it take you to give her $160,000?
Never.
Bitch.
I'm
dead.
He gave her $165,000 to run for Congress. Why would you do that to a chick that you just met through your homeboy who got her off of sugardaddyheat.com or whatever the fuck it's called? Why would you do that?
Never heard of that one.
You will find people with money and power will indulge in transactional sex work with sex workers.
Sure.
And hey, maybe some of these women, I mean, look, I don't even want to like point at the women and say anything, because at the end of the day, I feel like, were there likely women in there who were just purely massage therapists who felt offended that he may have asked them to like suck his, this and that?
Suck his what?
There might have been, but did he commit a crime is the issue. Did he commit a crime is the issue. If he didn't commit a crime, which we're now seeing through 2 grand juries, that they don't have enough evidence to say he committed a crime or to charge him with one, doesn't mean he's innocent of being a scumbag or being, immoral.
You're absolutely right.
But it doesn't make him a criminal.
It doesn't. You're right.